Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. In today's video, we are going to talk about the basics of being a customer in a gun store. Gun store customer 101. We're going to be covering a lot of basics in this, but some of this information may help out a seasoned gun store customer as well. A little bit on my background. A lot of you may not know if you're just coming to the channel now. I have been working in the firearms industry now for about 10 years, and I have worked kind of all over the place in a number of different gun stores, all the way from big box retail stores to small shops with indoor ranges. And now at the current shop that I work at, I do work there full time. That is my full-time job aside from my job here on YouTube, and I'm actually the store manager at that store. So it's been a great learning experience for me, but I've gotten to kind of see the industry from all different angles, from working with the social media world here on YouTube and also kind of on the front lines, if you will, of the gun industry, selling firearms to customers that come into stores that I've worked at for a very long time. And in this video, I'm going to try to answer some of the most common questions that I get in gun stores, and also some of the misinformation that I've seen out there online, to hopefully shed some light on this topic. First and foremost, you walk into a gun store. I would advise you to try and do at least a little bit of research ahead of time. This is where the internet world can kind of help out a little bit, and I would try to look up, say you want to get a concealed carry handgun, or you want to get something for home defense. Do a quick Google search on best firearm for home defense or best handgun for concealed carry, and try to find an unbiased but professional source to get that information from. One of the most common things that I see from a brand new person coming into a gun store is they treat every gun store employee like they are going to be an expert. And this, I can call you guys out because I am a gun store employee as well. I can tell you that there are many gun store employees out there that are not experts. In fact, a lot of them really don't even know that much about firearms. I know that might surprise a lot of you, but a lot of folks are in the gun industry to learn and build up that mental arsenal of information, and they could be very new in the industry. So I've seen a lot of people walk into a store and hope that the gun store employee, as really they should be, is going to give them the best information. And a lot of the times they do. But doing a little bit of learning ahead of time and getting some information can really help out. I would always caution you, I can't tell you how many times I've had a brand new gun owner come into a gun store and they bring their buddy that's an expert. And a lot of the times this individual's friend is not an expert and they are really not giving the best information. So again, try to keep that source unbiased and professional, and please, dear God, do not just listen to such and such because they are a police officer. The amount of times I have seen felony information handed out as far as what to do that's completely illegal versus completely horrifyingly dangerous information given out by police officers to their friends to try to help them with their firearms purchase is absolutely insane. Just because somebody's profession is carrying a firearm does not mean that they are an expert in the world of firearms. When you purchase a firearm in the United States, in all 50 states, you are going to have to fill out what is called a 4473 background check form. This is a federal background check form that is used to purchase any serialized item from a gun store. And if you are at all unsure about your background, if you have some sort of a misdemeanor charge or something that may have been expunged on your record but you're not really sure, never chance it by going into a gun store and saying, well, I'll just see if they're going to approve me and that's how I'll see if I can get a gun. This can result in potential problems where the federal government will try to nail you for lying on federal paperwork if you get denied on the background check and you answered any of the questions improperly, maybe not with the most truthful way to try to see if you could get a firearm, and that could result in a much bigger problem than you really want to get into and possibly barring you from ever getting a firearm again down the road. So what I generally advise to folks, and this is different in every state, primarily the states that are allowing constitutional carry, this wouldn't really apply, but I would always try to go get your concealed carry license first. That is the license to allow you to carry a firearm on your person concealed. And in most states, you can go ahead and try to get that. And because you are not trying to buy a firearm, even if you're not planning on carrying, that's a good little trick of the trade to see if you're going to be approved for the very same background check that is used to allow you to purchase a firearm. If you can obtain your concealed carry permit, 99% of the time you are going to be able to pass a background check to get a firearm, and there's not going to be any negative repercussions. If you go to try to get a concealed carry, the background check gets denied, and now you know and you can figure out how to talk to an attorney to make sure that your record is clear for firearms purchase. These days, prices are insane in the firearms industry. With the mess that was everything in the world for the past few years, prices shot up like crazy. And I know personally many stores that just simply increase their markup, sometimes even 50, 60, 70, 80% to profit off of a panicking individual that's running into a gun store. So whenever you're in a gun store, if the prices seem a little high, or if you're unsure about prices because you're brand new into the gun store world, pull up that firearm online. Maybe you can find it a little bit cheaper, or at the very least, gauge exactly what the prices are looking at out there. You're going to see price fluctuations depending on the state and compared to online in a lot of different places, maybe by 40 or 50 bucks. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But if you pull up a regular Glock 19 that on the shelf is something crazy like $850, $900, and everywhere else they're like $565, $600 bucks, you know that the store is probably charging a little bit high, and it might be time to switch stores and see if somebody else has a better price. To all those folks that are purchasing items online, be aware of transfer fees. And this is what's going to lead us into the next topic. So if you purchase a firearm online, you have to get it sent to a gun store in order to do a 4473 background check form to pick it up and bring it home with you. Usually, a lot of the places online will charge a shipping fee to get it sent to a gun store. Sometimes that's even $20 or $30 depending on the item. And then when it arrives at a gun store, the prices completely vary because it's dependent on that specific store. You might be looking at as little as $25 for a transfer fee to transfer and facilitate the background check of that item to you, but it could be as high as, I've even seen crazy stuff like $100. So it's important to be aware of those fees. Call the gun store ahead of time to ask them what their transfer fees are before you send the item out. This is especially important if you are looking at something like a really good deal on a stripped AR-15 lower. A stripped lower online that's 40 bucks sometimes may inadvertently cost you $140 because you were unsure about the transfer fees and were unaware of those things. And also call the store ahead of time, see if they have any strip lowers that are at a good price or can match a price online. When it comes to fees at a gun store, a lot of people are confused about that. When it comes to transfer fees, the gun store itself is generally only getting charged $2 to $3 for a background check on that transaction. A lot of people get frustrated at that because they say, well, they're only getting charged $3 and now I'm getting charged $45 for a transfer fee. The biggest thing is time, right? Time is valuable, and especially in gun stores these days, usually in every store these days, help is kind of at an all-time low, and it's really hard to schedule enough staffing to get everybody on hand to help out. So when you are looking at a transaction that may take 5 minutes, $40 may be a little bit high, but you never really know because some of those transactions all of a sudden may take an hour, 2 hours, because you have a customer that's having a little bit of a hard time with the form, or maybe a customer that's frustrated about something else and is talking to you about politics or whatever. but those transfer fees are set out to account for the amount of time an employee is going to be spending on that single transaction. And also, if you are looking at transferring a suppressor or other NFA item into those stores, the transfer fees are generally even higher because, again, you're looking at either typing up Form 4s or trying to deal with the ATF e-form system, and those transactions can typically take a significant amount of time. So those transfers, again, are set accordingly. And a lot of the time, if you purchase a firearm from that individual store or you purchase an NFA item from that store, there will be none of those transfer fees aside of the background check fee, which we will talk about next. You heard me mention there that most shops are getting charged $2 to $3 per background check fee. Most shops are going to charge $5 for the background check to get a little bit back in return for, again, the transaction, the process that we are doing. Now, I've seen some shops charge like $15 or $20 for a background check. That, in my opinion, is absolutely ridiculous, especially if somebody is purchasing a firearm from the store. Almost always that background check fee is going to be about $5. Now, say you're not as much of a beginner and you have other firearms. Buy-ins or trade-ins right now in July of 2023 are not that great. This industry has actually been incredibly slow these past few months, whether it's inflation or other factors at play. A lot of folks are not really frequenting gun stores these days. Just is what it is. And because of that, you're seeing used cases kind of fill up more and more and more. So the timing right now is really not great for selling your firearm to a gun store or trading in. So as a little bit of a tip, ask the gun store if they offer consignment. Sometimes that's a little bit of a win-win. It may take a little bit longer for you to get your money, but the shop is a lot more apt to do that because they're not shelling any money up front for the firearm. So just be aware of that, kind of gauge the industry, and just understand that if it's a slow time, you're probably not going to get offered that much for your firearm, if offered anything at all. One of the final things that I want to talk about, there's a lot of gun stores out there that also offer indoor ranges, and there's other gun stores that don't have ranges, but maybe you want to bring an item in for gunsmithing or something else. A lot of people are under the false impression that a gun shop is going to absolutely mirror their 100% patriot-free beliefs of firearms. But every shop out there, one, is going to have to abide by ATF whether they like it or not. If they don't abide by the ATF, then their license will be taken and potentially the FFL holder be jailed. And it can be a little bit of a headache, and they just simply won't be able to sell firearms anymore, best case scenario. So a gun shop is always going to try to stay as good as they can on the eyes of the ATF. You will also see gun shops that, in my opinion, are anti-gun, and this happens so much more frequently than many people think. And I bring this up primarily because of the ATF's pistol ruling that we have been seeing over the past few months here in the gun industry. I can't tell you how many stories that I've seen locally here, that people that I know that have gone to areas and have actually been reported to the ATF, whether that be at an indoor range where somebody sees a customer shooting with a pistol-braced item and doesn't even ask them if they've submitted a Form 1, or they bring a firearm into a gun store to try to get help, understand the situation, understand what's going on, and the gun store says, hey, that's an illegal item, we're calling the ATF on you. I have seen that happen, and it is disgusting for me to see. It happens so much more frequently than you would understand. So please, 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 if you have something that you maybe should not have, or something that the ATF is up in the air about, do not bring it into a gun store. If you are shooting it at a range, it would not be wise to bring that to an indoor range where it is completely and totally monitored by that staff for obvious reasons, because you may very likely get a call by the ATF about whatever it is that you have. It's shocking. It should not happen. It disgusts me that it happens, but it absolutely does happen. So just please be aware of that. That is going to wrap up this first video in the series of Gun Store Customer 101. Let me know down in the comment section, was this video helpful to you? Do you want to see more? What information would be helpful for you to hear in this video series, or stuff that you have heard from your buddies that are new in the industry? Let me know how I can help. I absolutely love doing so. As always, check out those links in the description for the ways to support the channel. Head down to that comment section. I absolutely will get back to you, and stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.